Hey everyone, welcome back to Carrots and Olives. My name is Brittany, and today we are doing an unboxing and just covering up my address from the box. This is from Atlas Stationers. We all know that they had their recent sidewalk sale. I was not there physically, but decided to shop the sale online. And so let's check in to see some of the goodies I purchased. Okay, so we're going to take this piece by piece. First thing I got are some stickers. Everything was wrapped really well, even the stickers and bubble wrap, which is quite funny, but hey, all precious cargo. So what did I get? Just a few stickers. So these are all of the Mindwave and Midori. So this is Mindwave, this is Midori. I figured I would get this for the holidays coming up, and these two just looked really pretty with like the bright colors, and we all know I love blue, so this one is like the giraffe. Why was I gonna say guitar? I cannot speak. And then we have the whale, and I don't know, this is like my first time getting these type of Midori stickers. I have gotten many different Mindwave stickers, but not the tiny ones. So I think these are great, especially if you have smaller notebooks, journals that you're working in. Next is this, and it has a few things that don't really go together, but whoa. Okay, so first of all, I ended up getting 2 stickers. These are, I guess they're made by artists for Atlas Stationery, but the one that says, "I am an Atlas Stationery problem child," I guess you could say that's pretty true. I'm going to put these into my planner, and then of course Atlas Stationery in Chicago, Illinois. They're the front of their shop. So I thought those were fun, and I like really big stickers. Next I got were these, and this is the first time I had seen these on any website. So these are the Esterbrook clips, and very fun experience. I like this packaging. Esterbrook is always like top-notch packaging. Let's see. Oh, it opens like this. So comes with different clips. I really ordered it for the clips themselves to hold my notebooks open. So it says, clip it, secures everything, even chaos, snap it, locks it all down, even the impossible, and share it, organizes your ideas because there's always someone who loves them. And then what are these? Are these just notes? Or just something you put down? Not quite sure how these really fit, but it looks like you can tear them off and use it as like note paper. But I really like the way that these look. They all look the same. You just get 3 of them. They are pretty flat, like on the back side. And they don't make much sound unless you're letting go and the force is allowing them to talk. But yeah, it's a very smooth mechanism. The opening, maybe not as big as some clips that you can get from other brands, but still pretty cute. It reminds me of the brass Traveler's Notebook clips, which is why I was really intrigued by this. And I am excited to have them. I'm actually going to take these out of the packaging. This one got stuck. And they're very lightweight, actually. They're not super heavy like the Traveler's Notebook ones. but I'm okay with that. So let's see. We take these and clip them together. I don't think that they would press so hard to make an indentation on the paper. But with these 3 really thin stickers, it does seem to hold it pretty well. They're not slipping out, so it's a pretty strong clip. So I did get a bunch of inks because they were on sale. Let's see which ones I got. Oh, I didn't know this was an Encore ink. So Van Diemen's Le Grand Jeté, Ferrisville Press, Moonbeam Meadows. There is a little bit of pink and green shimmer and a lot of shading. So I'm actually really excited about that one. I'm hoping it's not too light. And then I got the Blue Revelry Festivities Bleuté, and this one from Ferrisville Press. These looked dark enough to be able to see even with like a fine ink or a fine nib pen, so I'm hoping that is going to be true when I test these out. And then we have the Sidewalk Gum, Atlas Stationery and Robert Oster collaboration. And this one's like a purple with silver, I think it has silver sheening. So we'll test that out too. So 4 inks. And then last but not least, I got some pens. Man, we're flying through this. Flying through it. I'm not trying to leave you guys in this long video. But I did get 3 pens because they were on sale. And let's start with the smallest first and work our way up. So I've heard some really great things about the Pixie ever since Benu fixed the issue with the posting. And I felt like, I have to try it. I kept seeing videos about it and I really wanted to try it. So here we are. We ended up getting, oh, this is a lot prettier than I thought it would be. I didn't want to, like, I wanted a color that I would really enjoy, but also have a little bit of, you know, snazz to it. Something interesting. So I decided to get the coffee brown. And I actually haven't really seen any reviews on this particular color, but it has flecks of gold in it. And the brown isn't like solid. It's almost like a, I don't know how to explain it. It has a lot of depth to it. It's not just one solid color. Wow, this is a lot tinier than I thought. I could write with it as it fits in the crook of my hand here. However, now it just posts rather pretty good. It's not like shaky. And it feels like a medium-sized pen. So I ended up getting, I think I got the extra fine. Wow, it's been a while. This is a Schmidt nib. And the extra fine is actually on kind of engraved in the nib in the middle, I think. It's going to be hard to see that. But I think that this is going to be fun. The only thing I did not get is the cartridge, the converter. They were all sold out on the website, but you can put your cartridges in here. And I believe you could fill this up with ink. I don't know if that's true. Maybe not. But I think I'm going to just put that in there because I don't have anything else that would fit as of right now. Let's see how well it writes. I'll let that sit. So I've heard really great reviews about this pen from people saying that it's one of their favorite pens, which for as small as a pen as this looks to be is a very interesting statement. So I had to get it, and I'll see for myself if it's really that great. Okay, so next is Narwhal, which I haven't had the greatest luck with Narwhal. However, this pen intrigued me a lot. Let's see. I guess it's magnetic. Open it this way. And it was new on the market, or at least for Outlet Stationery, it showed up as a new item. And it is the Narwhal Eclipse Hepatizen Silver, and I got it in fine. Okay, let me close this back up. So this thing is very interesting looking. It almost looks like a laser pen. It's quite bulky, but what you should be able to do is, there we go, it pushes, and there's the nib. I like this. So as it's pushing, you could see that the body is condensed a little bit, but you can definitely see this piece push in. That's really fun. Now, how do I open it up? Okay, I guess I should have looked this up online first. Something is... Maybe that's not it. Oh, I did something. Okay, so here is the mechanism with the nib or the filling mechanism. So not a lot of ink will fit in here. However, this is how you do it. And they actually engraved the Narwhal logo onto this tiny, tiny nib. You may or may not be able to see that. And this is a fine. So I'm hoping that I'm going to have good luck with this. It fits in the same way as like a Pilot vanishing point. You have this little piece here. And now how do I put this back together? Like this. Oh, I guess you turn this knob and then to the left or counterclockwise, and then you push in to open the body. I don't know. Don't quote me. I have to read the instructions on this one. But I thought that this was really unique and quite different. I like that even though it comes with a clip. So there's a roll stop right there. Right? Does the clip get in the way? I never had an issue with vanishing points and their clips. I know that that could be an issue for some people. It does seem like the clip is very bulky, and it has that little like lift at the top or at the bottom, but the pen is not too heavy. So this will be interesting. Oh, could you take this off? You might be able to actually remove the clip if you don't want it. It seems like you may be able to remove that piece somehow, but ta-da! So we'll see how this works. I'm gonna ink it up and test it out. This is the piece where the nib comes out. It does seem like it closes really good. The only issue I have about like vanishing point and pens that look like this is that the nib tends to dry out if you're not using it regularly. And by regularly, consistently every single day. So we'll see how that goes. Last but not least, I want to say this is my very first stipula. I've always wondered how well the stipulas would write, and I always found mixed reviews. But this one looked very pretty and I couldn't pass it up, so I decided to give it a chance. This is the Novacento Aventaria fountain pen with an iridium nib. And I got the medium because they didn't have a fine. Very pretty. It reminds me of a sailor. And I thought, oh, this is so pretty. So this has gold leaf in it. And it says, let's see, Novacento. It is kind of like you can see all the inside of the pen, so a little bit of a demonstrator. It's not very heavy. It's quite lightweight. And we'll see how well this medium writes. It's an iridium nib. Let's see, how do I ink this up? Oh, wait. Whoa. Okay. I need to read a little bit more into this. I wasn't expecting that. Is this how you ink it up? So you pour ink in here? Some time has passed and I was looking into this pen a little bit more, trying to figure out how to ink it up. It is termed a safety pen from a lot of people online because it goes down, and there is no video about anyone inking up this pen on YouTube, at least that I could find. So, but what you're supposed to do, I guess, is bring the nib down, which kind of makes it open, and suck in some ink, and then put it down in here, and then lift up the nib so it can seal the deal, and you can write with it. And I think I want to try one of my new inks, but I do think I need to test them out first before to decide which ink I want to use. So I have everything I need. I have some water, I have my paper. Let's go to a new sheet. I'm just going to use bank paper today. And let's get started. So first we are going to do Ferrisville Press. This has 38 milliliters of ink. Oh, look at that. Really pretty. We're going to use my Kakimori nib. And that's pretty. This is blue. Well, Revelry. I like this. This is really pretty. Okay. I like how dark it's getting. At first, it was a little bit lighter than that when it first went on the paper, and now it's but very much more dark. Very much more dark. I could have said that better. Let me put this back on, and we will move to the next pen, or the next ink, the Atlas exclusive. I guess I need to shake it better. All the shimmer is at the bottom. I don't want too much shimmer. Now, if you have a bottle of ink, you can see that. If you have a bottle of ink that is a shimmer and you like the base color and not the shimmer part, just let the bottle of ink settle and then use your nib or your pen to ink it up. At that point, when all the majority of like the heavy particulates are at the bottom, and I find that I do that pretty often with some of my inks. Oh, this is not what I was expecting. Doesn't seem like there's much purple. So it's more gray, and it seems like the color that's coming out on this paper, there's the purple and maybe a little bit of green. And I'm a little nervous now because I wasn't expecting it to be this light, and using a fine nib pen might make it hard to see and read with the ink being this light. Now, maybe I should have not shook it up and see what the base color is, if it's a little bit darker. I don't know. This one is kind of throwing me off a little bit. Not really what I was expecting. The Ferrisville Press Blue Revelry is getting prettier and prettier after it's drying, because now I could see the shimmer. It's this really pretty, like, blue, green, purple. It's also Ferrisville Press. Has shimmer. The tiny, tiny bottle that will hardly fit anything, any nib. Well, it fits the Kakimori. Okay. Let's scoot this up. All right. Seems a little light, but maybe it will dry up a little bit darker. Let me just grab the name. They're calling this Moonbeam Ferrisville Press. Okay, this one's definitely a lot more purple, and I don't really see green. It does say it will shimmer green and pink. Last but not least is Van Diemen's. So I've always kept my inks in a closed drawer or in the box, or both. And I have inks that are about almost 10 years old, and they are writing, they work fine. So I'm so happy I never did the display, or actually didn't have the opportunity to do it, because I never really had my own office space to do it in. So it ended up working out anyway. So this is it is called Le Grand Jeté. This is really, really pretty. It's like this blue green. So what ink am I going to ink up my stipula? Oh, let's see. I'm thinking it through. The ink that pops out the most to me is Blue Revelry, because it seems like the most practical ink. Everything else just seems a little bit, makes me a little bit uneasy that I'll be able to actually read it in like a fine nib. Now I do have other nibs. I don't have just fine, but most of my pens are that I use for writing and journaling have been my fine nib. And I talked about this in a couple videos prior, but also because the Tomoe River paper and the Hobonichi is a little bit sensitive to a lot of ink this particular year, that I try not to do more than a medium pen. I have done a couple of broads, but I've done it with pretty stable inks that don't like feather. So anyway, I think I'm going to go with Blue Revelry. Now this Robert Oster, and I didn't even put the name, it's the Sidewalk Gum, is very interesting now that it's a lot more dry. But I still feel like it may not be great in my Stipula pen. So let's try to ink it. Have my little cloth here. Ooh, look at that pretty shimmer. So it is a green shimmer. And I have this. Like that. Just going to suck up some ink. And I'm not quite sure how much ink I need to suck up or put in here. This pipette is very, like, it's kind of terrible. It doesn't suck up enough ink. Okay, I think I have too much. So I don't have a safety pen. This is my first time with the safety pen, so I'm raising up the nib. Seems like the ink that was stuck around the nib has since dispersed. Like further down, it has fallen down. Kind of shaking it because there's some ink on the sides. Now, if I lift it upside down. Okay, so the ink really just stays in this section. And I assume I probably could have added more ink since there's room. My Bennu already has ink in there. Now to ink up this guy, I think I want to use the Legrand Jeté. I'm doing this wrong. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's hard to figure out how to do that, and I haven't read about it yet. So it's probably on me. So let me just ink this up. Okay, make sure it's clean. Let me put it back in and find the little knob and kind of align this here and then tighten. Oh, okay. And voila. So let's test out these nibs. So the nib seems to be a bit dry. Yeah, I feel like I need to maybe open it up just a little bit because it's a bit dry. So I'll probably do that offline. That's a little disappointing. Okay, let's try the Banu. Let's see if my ink has come down. Oh, it has. Okay. Definitely writes a lot better. Is this blue or black? This is blue ink. Definitely writes a lot better than a Narwhal. So Banu. Pixie. Coffee brown. This is the extra fine. I just use a cartridge. In blue. So this is actually a pretty wet nib. A little bit of feedback, not super overly smooth, but it actually writes really, really nice. I see the appeal. I see it. Okay. Last but not least is the stipula. Oh, look at that. The ink, how it just pulls away from the sides. Okay. Does seem like it's overly smooth. There's a hard start. Yeah, so this is something I was hoping wouldn't happen. But now I need to kind of play around with the nib. The pen is comfortable to write with. Even the grip section is not too thin and narrow. It seems like it would be a very comfortable pen. It's not too heavy, but you could see I'm getting a ton of hard starts. Well, I will be playing around with these nibs and seeing how I can make them fit what I need them to do for myself. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to post them down below, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.